never like missing a beat, but I just went over there, didn't we? We just went into 18:01 on my clock. So if you were hanging around waiting for us to go live for 60 seconds, we do apologise. But we're obviously live. It's Thursday, it's 6 o'clock. We're here with your property market chat via the Avocado Property crew. And today we are joined by Thomas Dunn over in Swindon. He's
Hello.
got his hoodie on and he's also flying jets from his computer via his headset in
Amen.
this chat. So we're going to
Amen.
hear more about jet flying. We've got Stephen down there in Farnborough direction, obviously part of Chris and Stephen, looking after Farnborough Camberley. Lovely little backdrop there, Stephen, in the garden
in the
setup.
decking area while it's still sunny.
Yeah, enjoying it. And then we've got Matt, who's one half of Matt and Matt. His other, you've seen the spider, the Spider-Man graphic where they both point at each other. That's Matt and Matt. They are the same name, different people from Wokenham. So that's the crew. We've got comments coming in already. What game are you playing, Thomas? Chris would love to know. He's checking in on Stephen. Just
Jet
to make
Simulator
sure
2023, apparently.
Which one is it?
Jet Simulator 2023, apparently.
My stepdad's a big fan of that one. Big
Yeah.
fan. Yeah, it's got the joystick.
Yeah. That's what he said.
So we've got a couple of things to talk about tonight, haven't we, chaps? So we are going to talk about sellers that need to act quick. We are going to talk about AI in estate agency, and in particular in property searching, buying, selling, and what's everyone's thoughts around that. Matt just got horrified when I dropped that banner on. He's like, no, I do not want to talk about that right now. And obviously we're obviously going to have a chat, the truth behind the property market as it stands. So let's kick it off there. I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling pretty good this week. I'm feeling pretty positive. I was worried 10 days ago, but they've not hiked as much as they would do. Buyers don't seem to be too phased. The ones that are looking seem to be of high quality. There are definitely less buyers, and you do need to be price sensitive as a seller, but people seem to want to move, people seem to want to buy, people seem to want to let, and people seem to want to rent. So as far as I'm concerned, we are a version of business as usual. How are you finding it, Matthew, over in the Wokenham world?
Yeah, certainly all of that, actually. The specifics for us actually are more like what you just mentioned, where the buyers of even 4 or 5 weeks ago, when you used to get 6, 7, 8 viewings at a house over a weekend because the interest rate, the mortgage rates were low, you're getting 2 or 3 now, but they're good quality viewings. They're people that actually really need to move rather than want to move. So whilst we've seen a slowdown in the uptake, and it's taken a touch longer to agree a sale, the buyers are still out there. They're still ready to go.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of sales being agreed across the group. So, and what about yourself, Thomas? We were talking just off camera there before. You said you launched a couple of flats and they sold relatively quickly over in the sort of Swindon direction, which is always good news, right? I think if flats are selling, then there's no problems with the market, really.
Massive news. Yeah, 2 sort of came up very, very quickly, got some buyers for it. And fun enough, both of them are investors. So we're starting to see a bit of a turn. I haven't seen a cash investor in a flat for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden 2 come along at once. It was like, oh, fantastic. But yeah, we're not seeing too much. We're seeing a lot more serious buyers, which is great. But I think it's a case that we're no longer getting those volumes of viewings and viewing requests. You're finding 4 or 5 viewings per home now, but they are just quality.
I think that seems to be the way. Are you seeing that, Stephen? I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to someone, Michael Childs from High Wycombe yesterday, and Mike was saying to me, it's gone from you do a Saturday viewing and it was an open house and you do 12 of them and you'd sell it. And now it seems if the property's priced right, you do a Saturday single viewing and it's 1 for 1 and it sells as long as the price is right, but the buyer quality is high. So he quite likes it because he pretty much does 1 or 2 viewings on a property and then he's got the whole weekend to enjoy rather than staying there all day. But how are you finding things Farnborough Camberley direction?
Yeah, I mean, there is less buyers, but that's because a lot of prices aren't right yet. And the only example I can give you recently is we did take a a property on the market in Frimley, priced right, 26 viewings in a week. So it shows there is a market out there and there is buyers ready to buy out there, but it's getting your price right 100%. I mean, that's got 10 offers when in excess of the asking price, and it's now under offer moving forward.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think, all of us on this call have been in agency for a fair amount of time. We've seen different types of markets, but I quite like this market. I think there's much less panic everywhere at the moment. I think people are a bit more rational and understanding. They're more interested in feedback and honesty, experience, comparable evidence, reasons why you think what you think with your opinion. And it just feels a little bit less kind of, panicky, Matt, I would say at the moment. Is that the feedback you're getting with clients in Wokingham? Everyone just feels a little bit more relaxed about it, but a bit uncertain about the media and the rates and, the messaging and stuff like that. Is that the general sort of vibe when you go on evaluation at the moment?
Certainly from a seller's perspective, they're struggling to see why the value is a little bit different to even what it would have been 6 weeks ago. Less panicked because they don't necessarily need to do something immediately. So they take on the advice. They actually, the thing is, because the interest rates have been steadily increasing for a little while, this isn't unexpected. So they're sort of expecting the fact that they can move on, still sell, get what they need to. The conversation I'm having with most at the moment is most people that I'm seeing are looking to move from one to the other, and most are looking to upsize at the moment. Now, that's the sort of market where you need to be most aggressive at the moment, because if you've got a 2 or 3 bedroom house, you're selling it for 450, you want to upsize to a 4 bedroom at 650, 700,000. You might take a little bit less on yours. You might take 5% less on yours at 400, which is 20 grand less. But the 600 grand one, you're going to be taking 30 grand less off the back of that one that it was 6 weeks ago. So the opportunity is actually there for a lot of buyers at the moment. So there's still a good place to be if you want to upsize, take a little bit of a hit on the mortgage part of it on the top upside, and you're fine. I actually think the market's out there for first-time buyers specifically at the moment.
Yeah, I think there definitely is some nicely priced properties out there for first-time buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Ribena or red wine, Matt?
I'm going to say Ribena because we're live, but it might not be Ribena.
It's a big glass as well.
I spoke to someone.
It's a goblet. That's not a glass. It's a goblet.
I told myself.
Unless you got a magnify.
Yeah, I told myself today.
It's a fisheye lens.
If I got the exchange over the line, which I managed to get over the line today, I would treat myself to a nice glass of something, which is exactly what I'm doing now, because I got it over the line, did it, and now I'm treating myself. So,
well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that the one? It was quite a big chain for you, and there's a lot of moving parts for that one throughout the whole process. And they're the sort of ones that they just don't happen if you're dealing with inexperience and admin. No disrespect to either, but it just doesn't happen if you can't keep plates juggling. So
exactly. Few are like that, but I'm going to be de-stressing by running after this. So you're celebrating. I'm hoping to celebrate in a few days. I'm just going to run for a de-stress.
Yeah.
Just going back to that point about first-time buyers out there, Ian, I think where people are looking to try and make that move, where they're going from their 2 or 3 bedroom properties up and upscaling and see the opportunity for the place that they go to next. I do think there's a good opportunity out there for first-time buyers to get maybe pay not as much as they wanted to, maybe pay a little bit more on the mortgage, but still get the use of the stamp duty holiday, which I think people often forget is even out there, because up to 425,000, you've still got that relief, haven't you, for first-time buyers?
Yeah.
So I think that in actual fact,
I've forgotten that.
It makes a lot of sense for first-time buyers to actually jump onto the bandwagon now, because if people are waiting for interest rates to drop, they're going to be waiting an awful long time, I think, for them to drop significantly.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see inflation drastically drop.
No.
For the next good few years, definitely not below 5% for the next few years. So with that in mind, I don't think we're going to see all of a sudden the Bank of England go, right, okay, we're good now, let's drop it back down to 0.5%. We're just not going to see that for decades in reality. So we are going to most likely see, best case scenario, some 4% interest rate average over the next 5 or 6 years is probably the likelihood. So yeah, I think it means there's opportunities out there. It means first time buyers can take advantage, because for first time buyers, either you're staying at home, and if you're happy to do it and stockpile some cash, fantastic, you're buying, or you're renting. And if you're renting at the moment, A, good luck, because it's nearly impossible. And B, rental prices are continuing to go. Andy, the lettings director at Avocado, said it's, I think it's an 11% rental price inflation for the last X amount of years, and it will continue in that way. So they're just going up 10% every year, compounding as well.
You're paying 100% worth of someone else's mortgage. So you think about interest rates being at 6% or 6.5% now for people at 90% loan to value. You're saving however much you're saving on the stamp duty. But in truth, if you're renting, you're paying a load of money to someone you're getting no return off the back of.
Absolutely. Tom, I'm going to share this week's mortgage rates. Here we go. So I did this last week. A lot of people commented and said it was quite helpful. So these are as of yesterday. Best deal on the market at the moment, Tom. This one here for TSB, 5.39. It's a 5-year fixed deal. You do need to have quite a big deposit for that particular one. But that's a big change, isn't it? I think, that is quite a big change over the last 6-7 weeks. But it's still, in the spectrum of the last 20 years, it would probably sit somewhere around average, really. But it is going to be a big change for people coming off really low mortgages, over the next sort of 18 months, I guess. That's the big hitters, isn't it? The people that are having to refix, not necessarily the people that are planning to buy, I would say. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's something something I've brought up in conversation the last couple of weeks, actually, with a lot of people, thinking of, do you know what, I'm not going to move because rates are high. And it's like, well, you're only touching on a few things. TSB came out and obviously redid a lot of their rates and actually reduced some of their rates. So it's good to see that they're not kind of touching over that 6.2% at the moment. But we've got a couple of vendors that are going through that transition that have been absolutely petrified. Their mortgage is literally just up, and they're like, we're now going to be kind of stung a little bit. But after having a chat with Lauren, our broker, they've actually come out of it and gone, actually, it's not too bad. So I think there's still an element of scaremongering out there. It's obviously higher than where we were 2 years ago, but it's still not extreme at the moment. I think, as you said, it was still on average. If you go back to 2018, 2017, about a normal market, really.
Yeah, I think you either make it work or you don't, isn't it? Really, at the moment, it's people that can't afford to move with the right deposit aren't going to, and people that want to are going to make it happen. You mentioned that property that you had where you had 26 viewings, Stephen. What about overall? How are you finding things overall? What's the big difference between a property that's selling and a property that isn't selling, outside of pricing? And I know that's probably 90% of it, 80% of it, but what's the difference with the ones outside of pricing?
Yeah, just the limited number of leads, the limited number of people viewing. The interest levels are just like anyone knows. Year 18 months ago, there was plenty of viewings at all different price brackets, but that's the question you're answering.
Is there anything that sellers can do to help themselves? Is there anything they can do for the photos, for the video, for the viewing? What's the difference maybe between how a seller or a vendor, a homeowner has left their property? Is there anything they can do? Is it worth, if someone wants to move next month, is it worth taking an extra 6-7 weeks and decorating, changing carpets, replacing kitchens, bathrooms? Or would you say, don't do that, keep it clean and tidy, somewhere in the middle? What's normally works at the moment?
Definitely somewhere in the middle. I mean, like people know we're in a buyer's market at the moment. If you spend a load of money, it could be to someone else's taste, and you might not get that money back. So if you're willing to spend money on kitchens and bathrooms, then just reduce the price. Just reduce the price, and there's still, as I said, that something that we took on in Frimley, right price, plenty of buyers. It's just price. It's hugely price sensitive, this market at the moment.
Yeah, I think obviously price has a big impact. Is there something in some sort of trend in Wokingham at the moment, Matt, with regards to buyers? Would you say some buyers there's a bigger volume of them at a certain price band, or is it kind of just split across all price bands at the moment?
I think it's split across all price bands at the moment, because I think everybody's just very cautious about where the market's heading specifically. I mean, Matt and I did a poll yesterday on Facebook, which was to look to try and understand what buyers were looking for. We put it on one of the local groups, and some decent engagement in it. Most 50%, just over 50% of the people that responded on it were saying that they're waiting for interest rates to come down. The next part was they felt the next biggest, which was about 30% of the vote, so 80% out of the total, where they think prices are 10% too high at the moment. And a lot of that is off the back of overvaluing by the estate agent that needs to win business to keep their boss happy above them. Whereas what the strategy that we've always adopted is to really test and measure the market before we even go online to Rightmove. So if you're hearing, so I think it's 550 and someone's telling you 600, let's see if 600 is possible, but on a social media marketing strategy where you use 100%. The database to your advantage to start off with. And if it doesn't work, use that ammunition to be able to make the right decision before you go online. Rightmove and Zoopla and all of the above are the best tools to be able to find buyers. However, test and measuring your value is one that has to be done correctly beforehand. Now, if you get any Joe Bloggs estate agent, all they'll do is they'll come around, take photos, stick it on Rightmove and wait for Rightmove to connect you, which is literally the phone call that comes through off the back of the call that comes in from Rightmove. That's not estate agency as we are now. Estate agency as we are now is test and measuring the price to get the price specifically right. As Stephen said, it's got to be done properly. There's got to be a middle ground based on not spending too much money on home improvements, because as Stephen said, they're going to come. Someone might come in and rip the stuff out already. But there is massive advantage and value in having an Avocado partner dealing with it, because we're on the face of we deal with the buyers as well as the sellers. Yeah. So when we're dealing with buyers as well as sellers, we've got a list of our buyers that we know of straight away, that if a 3-bedroom comes around the corner in Moose Hill that comes onto the market at the right money, I already know who I'm going to phone to try and get them in there to go and have a look. So out of the last 2-3 months of properties that have sold, 6 of them have been done low key before they've even gone onto the market via the social media campaign of it. So that's where a benefit of I'll give an Avocado a bit of a plug there. That wasn't quite the intention behind the question, but that's where the advantage comes behind using Avocado as a business. It's not about just using Rightmove and Zoopla. It's about maximising the opportunity for the value through other mediums.
Yeah, because you obviously ask what can they do with regards to getting ready for the market. Well, as Avocado, we're very proud in comparison to other agents, not to name any, obviously, and how we present our properties and move forward before it comes to the market. So we're already going to be asking people to present it in the right way, to take time, effort. I took a property off the market off another agent, and their photos, they clearly hadn't asked the owner to have it ready for marketing. I gave her tips, and she really listened, and it was massively different. Just looked a total different house from the previous marketing by the other agent.
I think it makes a huge difference. I think people really underestimate how many eyeballs can be shown to someone's property through social media and through doing things in, if you just take Facebook groups alone, if you look at like a We Love Wokingham or something like that, or, the Farnborough one or the Swindon one, there's 30,000 people normally in those groups, in those big sort of towns. And you put your property video in there. Someone knows someone locally. Someone knows someone that's looking to move there. Someone knows someone on the playground. Someone spots the video. Someone sends it to someone in Facebook Messenger, or someone sees it in Instagram and drops it into a DM. Someone WhatsApps a link of it. Someone somewhere does. And you don't get that on Rightmove, because they're the people in the 4-bed, 3-bed house that they're not active on Rightmove. They're just skimming. They might only be skimming once every couple of weeks. You know, they might be waiting for some sort of alert or trigger, but they might not. It might not have been on their criteria that they'd set out. But Sue sees it in the Facebook group. She sends it to John.
We
John
love
sees
Sue.
it, you know, sends it to whoever, and before you know it, you've got more eyeballs.
It's
So
the wider audience, isn't it? It's an audience that Rightmove, Zoopla can't get to because that's just it.
Simon loves you, Stephen. He said, "Good evening, Mr. Farnborough, the local celebrity of Farnborough." I've got a question
Thank you,
actually. Is there seagulls landing in your garden?
Yeah.
Are you near the
up there?
sea
No.
in Farnborough?
No, there's a lot going on though.
There is a lot going on.
Like
I heard
helicopter.
Told
it a
you,
minute
it's
ago.
my-
That was a helicopter gone above.
It's air traffic control this side. I'm directing them your way.
Exactly. And there was a lot of birds.
The other side of that wall is Farnborough Airport.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Swindon overall then. You know, you've listed quite a few 4-bed houses recently, you and Ben. I think Ben's out to see another one this evening, which is exciting. A lot of families still moving in Swindon. Is there a lot of people upsizing, downsizing? Are they getting out? Are they coming back in? Are they moving around? What's happening?
Yeah, very good question. We've got quite a lot of 4-beds that either are on the market or come into the market, and we're seeing. I think our biggest market is still kind of that first-time buyers. Swindon's just not that cash rich, so that higher end, I would say anything over 500,000 at the moment it's taken a long time to sell. I mean, we've just had an offer on one of our 750s, which is great. But it's been on the market now for about 2 months, so it's just taken a little bit of traction. But you are still seeing a lot of people move, and again, they're better quality. So overall, I think we've only had sort of 3 viewings on one of the other ones at 750 over in Rawton. We had a viewing today, and he's like, "Do you know what? I absolutely love it. I'm going to go and see something else, but do you know what? Come round." So we're due to go and see his and take his on off the back of his moving as well. So yeah, I think people have been a bit smarter. We're still seeing a lot of people move. There's a lot of activity. It's just taking a little bit longer at that higher end. But we're still seeing a very prominent first-time buyer market, probably up to about 250 at the moment.
Interesting. So I did a little, I did a thing while we were chatting there. Let me show you the thing. Let me screen share. Oh, thank God that was the right Google tab. So on here, I'm only joking. I've only got one open. We've got.
The wife's out.
I'm actually using Chrome as well, which I don't normally use. You don't want to see the Safari one. Woo! So mortgage amount 300k, just to show people, because if you missed that mortgage rate that we were showing you earlier, the rates from yesterday, I put 5.95 in. And the reason I put that in is we spoke a lot about first-time buyers, different parts of the market. That's the best 2-year fixed deal if you've got a 10% deposit. So 90% mortgage, 10% deposit. And I just think that under 6% at the moment, what does that mean to those first-time buyers? Matt was talking about rented. You know, Tom's there talking about X, Y, and Z in Swindon with money. Stephen's talking about the different levels of traffic. So what does it mean if someone's getting a 300 grand mortgage, the rest is cash deposit, the interest rate's just under 6%. Most first-time buyers average at 35-year periods these days. And that's going to cost you £1,700 for that 2-bed end terrace house, 3-bed terrace house in Swindon. Maybe you get a 3-bed end potentially there. Farnborough, you might get a 3-bed mid. Wokingham, it's probably more likely to be a 2-bed, you know, around
Shed in Wokingham, isn't it? Is that price?
around the sort of 350, 330 mark. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a mortgage of £1,700. It's a lot of money, but you're also looking at a rental price of that or more, effectively. Mm-hmm. So I guess the question is not, can we compare it to last year, where that may have been 1,000? Can we compare it to renting, not renting? That is what it is. So I guess the question is, buyers, there's less of them now, but higher quality, because the ones are looking at the ones that can afford this, and the ones that aren't are the ones that can't. So if you want to sell at the moment, it's just a case of talking to the right markets, to the right people, and offering the right marketing to the eyeballs for the right people as well. And I think what people probably underestimate a little bit in the market is that HMRC report did show that people have got way more savings in their bank accounts at the moment than what they had done pre-COVID. So people do have more cash in general, especially around this area. And wages are also increasing rapidly because there's a huge shortage of supply of labour out there too. So the people that can afford to do it are doing it. You know, that's the key thing at the moment. So I just thought I'd show that and let people see. And then if people are wondering, well, how does that compare to, I don't know, 2.5%? Well, there you go. That's the difference. The low sort of 2.5%. We're talking about £650, £700 to either live in your mum's bedroom, be rented, paying a landlord's mortgage, or making it work. You know, and if that means a few less £9 Starbucks latte grandes, then that's what we're going to have to do. We're all going to have to muck in. Next May, my mortgage rate is up for remortgage.
So,
Yeah,
mine's next May.
Mine's in January.
I got 1.54. I
2 point
did
something.
that calculator on 8% just to see what it looked like. I'm still here. I'm still here. I've moved the kids out. They're too expensive, but I'm still here.
Sold them at an auction, and
So you make it work, don't you? At the end of the day, you make it work. Stephen, what have you got bubbling? Have you got any kind of Farnborough specific properties that are up and coming that you haven't done a beat the portals on yet? That's or is there any recent beat the portals in the Farnborough area that we can talk about?
No, not really, not yet. I've got some good viewings on my property in Church Crookham, of which a few are obviously in Farnborough, and I'm seeing them next week. So there's potential sort of chain building properties there. But we've had a lot of recommendations, a lot of sort of past, which have been other areas. Yeah, not as much as I'd like to be in Farnborough. Yeah.
Been all over the place, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, should have one in Aldershot coming on the market. Another one in Fleet, and we've just taken one on in Yateley, which is getting actually a good level of interest. And that again has gone on at the right price, and has seen since yesterday 4 or 5 viewings already booked in.
Is that the 3-bed mid in Yateley?
Yeah. Whereas other agents had sort of suggested a higher price. We advised her to look at the sort of the lower, because the market in general is better at the moment at the, a more attractive price, and it has generated a good level of interest already.
What about yourself, Thomas? You and Ben? I know Ben's currently out to see someone this evening, but anything that you can share with us without giving too much of the game away?
Yeah, we got a lovely 2-bed coming on. We did that one yesterday, so presentations all being edited, and that'll be coming straight on the market tomorrow. So we're really excited for that one. We've got one over in Barkham. We've got one more in Swindon coming up, and we've also got I'm out to go and see a guy that's in Hungerford at the moment. Been on the market for 6 months here. Not got a Scooby with his current agent. Hasn't even had a viewing in those 6 months. And I just want to go and see him, see what we can do, get that sold for him.
We actually had someone email us today to the website that said, I love your marketing. I love what you guys are doing. We've got a bungalow in Poole and we're getting no joy with our agents. We know you're not in the area, but would any Avocado Partners come out and help us? Which I thought was so cool. But that's a good hour away from anyone. So bit of a challenge. But if you're out there, Avocado people, and you want a bungalow in Poole that's not selling with its current agent, do let me know. I've got
I was in the centre of Guildford as well on Monday. So with investors opportunity, literally 5 minutes away from Guildford town centre and everything, the train station. So that should be coming on in the next few weeks as well.
You get around, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like a busker.
I've been recommended quite a lot recently.
How many kids you got, Stephen?
Free.
One's Hispanic.
There's no phone tracker on me though.
Yeah.
What about Wokingham? Matt and Matt, how are you getting on with Mr. Barrel?
Oh, I love him. He's great, isn't he? Absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful guy.
I saw him on a live video today doing star jumps.
Yeah, well, that's the exciting. He sent that picture around wearing bright pink trousers last night, which thankfully he didn't get me a pair of as well. But he can rock them. I can leave them well alone.
Yeah.
Stock wise, I've got a couple of really exciting bits coming on actually. I've got a 5-bed chalet bungalow. It's about 2,000 square foot, sitting on a 1/4 acre plot off a nice road in Wokingham. It's coming onto the market at 900. It's crying out to be extended heavily all the way across the side of it. If you saw the plot, you'd know what I mean. And also went to a really, really, really exciting one yesterday. Won't give you too much information, but sat on a 3.5 acre plot, main 4-bedroom house, studio, sits centrally on it. It's got paddock land for 1 acre at the front.
Wow.
The 2.5 acres the house sits centrally on the plot. It's just stunning. So I'm going to be working with her hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks to start doing some soft launch on that and low key marketing. So
that's not the one that Mike went to as well, is it?
No,
different one. We got a couple of, if people got horses and things like that, we got a couple of crackers coming up. By the sounds of your one, acreage there. Mike's got something coming up, acreage as well.
Yeah.
Some really nice stuff.
We're looking to pitch at about 1.2 million, so somewhere around that sort of value, but lovely position in Wokingham. And we've got some really lovely stock on as well. Some really, really lovely stock on. So yes, there's a good bit happening. Yeah, there it is.
There's Grease Lightning himself.
I'm not sure if that stayed in the Avocado WhatsApp group or made its way to social media, but it's now live on Facebook. So there is thousands of people tuned into this live. How on point though? Look at the background of the branded, graphics that we've made here, and that is the pink is absolutely spot on. Fair play, Matthew. Yeah, if you want a pair of those trousers, please DM Matt and Matt's
or just Matt.
Wokingham. They will sort those out.
You don't want to be associated with them.
No, not the slightest. No. They can stay well away from my wardrobe.
They look like a fire hazard.
Not even for a little charity golf
course, Ian. No. I'll leave that up to.
Sounds like a forfeit.
Yeah, no, it's not one that I want to be associated with either. So it's all right.
I might take those on an ultra marathon at some point soon. So I think if you tuned in and you've watched, we say thank you for people that were kind of obviously dropping us a like and getting involved. It's always great. If you're watching this and we're not live anymore, still comment, ask us a question. We will respond. If you think someone at the moment that's thinking of moving, wants to move, struggling with their agent, tag them into the video just so they can watch it back and get a little bit of an honest view of what's going on with the market as well. If you're in the Wokingham area, whether you're moving or not, follow Matt and Matt on his socials. If you're in the Swindon area, you want market updates, you want chats with local businesses and first released properties, follow Ben and Thomas because they'll give you the heads up. And if you're looking anywhere across, sounds like the whole of the country, but in reality, Camberley, Frimley, Farnborough and surrounding areas, then follow Chris and Stephen, Instagram, Facebook. You'll get the jump on new listings, you get market updates, and obviously you can DM any of them as well, and they will offer you some support. Any pearls of wisdom before we depart, gents?
Oh, wow.
Asking the wrong people here.
That's a Sanjay question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to have a quick chat about AI in estate agencies? Anyone fussed by it? No. No one wants robots showing around houses. No one wants to cancel Rightmove and just use Chat GTP to kind of source your properties. No. Sounds like we're still needed, gents. So we'll be back next Thursday in that case, 6:00. If you're not subscribed to the socials, make sure you are. You'll get an alert. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you all next week.